Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm the inspirational Andy Murray from WhatCulture. And remember, watch out for gonorrhea.
Coming up, just keep this between you and me, but Goldberg's coming back on TV.
Sasha is coming back, Sha.
And which one is going to look like an absolute melt when Page and Jericho fight for the AEW belt? This is the news.
We are going to start things off, surprise, surprise, shock of all shocks, with more talk that even more wrestlers want to leave WWE and that oh so toxic backstage environment, which really sounds like the worst place in the world to be at the moment, particularly after that Jon Moxley interview on Talk Is Jericho earlier this week. So, I have an interview. I don't have an interview. I have a quote directly from your uncle and mine, the swole god himself, Shiggity Shagger Dave, on Wrestling Observer Radio, who is quoted as saying the following. There are way more that you are not aware of, talking about people who are upset backstage. I would go so far as to say that there are very few people, and you can count them on two hands, that have not at least inquired regarding what's outside, including names that would shock you.
Wow.
Now, we could sit here and be absolute bellends and go, oh, maybe talking about Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair. I guess we've just kind of done that, even by kind of mocking it. But there are very few names who would actually shock you these days, because the company are genuinely seem incapable of correctly presenting more than a handful of wrestlers at a time. I mean, who are they getting right at the moment? Becky Lynch, Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins, not many others. I'm sure there are more than that, obviously, but just to kind of illustrate the point. It's big news, this, really, because when he says, you can count them on two hands, that's up to 10 people who have been like, hey, I kind of want to leave, and it's all kind of just...
It sounds like more than that, doesn't it?
It really does, yeah, because he's talking about exceptions and stuff. Now, there is another quote here from WrestleVotes, and as always, take this with a pinch of WrestleVotes. They are... they say, for what it's worth, I've talked to several people connected to WWE regarding the Moxley Jericho podcast. They all agree with Mox. He's not saying anything that others aren't thinking. One quote that I got was, it's all true, it's a mess, and it's not changing anytime soon. Vince is Vince.
That quote could have come from 10 years ago, for all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, people who've only watched WWE once could have probably come up with that as well, to be fair. But no, it's just kind of goes to show that WWE's backstage turmoil, this crazy year that we've had with all these people trying to bugger off, isn't ending anytime soon.
No,
because it's only May.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's it's time to admit that WWE needs to make wholesale changes, not just to the product they put out to the public, but just the way they operate as a business. It may have worked for the last 20 years because they didn't really have any competition. They were the only show in town, basically. But now with this competition just going, hey, let's not live in the past and live by these old-fashioned rules. We have to move with the times, and we have to make it not just the best business to work for, but just the best place to work for a wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to think that things like freezing Luke Harper's contract just vindictively isn't really helping the matter either. I mean, cool, you've got Luke Harper for another 6 months, but what the hell are you going to do with him? You're going to do nothing. It's going to cost you more money. It's going to upset more people. It's going to upset Luke Harper especially, and it's just going to create a really horrible environment. That's not good leadership. Maybe it was back in the day when you were the Iron Fist, like you said, and there was no other competition, there was nowhere else to go to. But Luke Harper can sit out his contract, he can wait that thing out, he can wait until it expires, and then he can leave and spread his wings and do stuff that he wants to do, that he could be doing for you if you weren't silly.
I think, Moxley sort of hit the nail on the head when he said money isn't everything. Now, yes, some wrestlers will want to earn more money than others, but at the end of the day, just chucking money at a problem, as WWE apparently have tried to do, clearly isn't the solution here. And you've got to make it, a better workplace, make sure the morale is better backstage. Because, yes, not everyone's going to be pushed at the same time, so you have to try and keep most people happy, because when that doesn't happen, and people are just hating their lives backstage anyway, it's just going to make people long to walk out that door. And you can't tie everyone to contracts that last 1 million years.
Just exacerbates the problems, makes them worse.
But the one thing money does solve is issues with people wrestling in Saudi Arabia. The show is coming up, of course, next Friday, and ahead of that, we reported the other day that The Undertaker is going to be showing up on Monday Night Raw, and it is now being reported that Goldberg is going to be showing up on SmackDown Live next week, which seems to suggest that the two aren't going to face off prior to Super Showdown.
But weird that, innit?
Yeah, but
weird.
It's fine because they're not going to be able to do much, are they? They've got to save their energy. But regardless of that, I'm really excited to obviously see The Undertaker on Raw. It's always a bit of a show, along with a 10-minute entrance. And I'm really, really excited to see Goldberg back and see how they hype this match, which is just, I mean, for now, mad banter. The sort of match you'd get on 2K on an episode of Superstars when they just randomly tonight on Superstars with Your Wrestler Not Wrestling, it's going to be The Rock versus Sting.
Yeah, for the banter. I mean, this might be the hype of the Saudi Arabian big bad banter booking so far. I mean, Goldberg has been re-retired for 2 years. The Undertaker, the last couple of times we've seen him in the ring, not so good, brother. So, yeah, I mean, the match is going to be hilarious. As for their confrontation, or their stuff they do on Raw goes, I'm going to predict that The Undertaker is going to take 10 minutes out of the ring, like you said. He's going to chokeslam Elias or some other goober for some reason. Goldberg is probably going to spear Rusev. They're going to wrestle without ever really confronting each other, which is super, super weird. But the cynical standpoint of all of this is that maybe WWE just wanted to pop ratings for both shows and they have two big stars being
Garrett, they will do.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I love Goldberg. That's no surprise, no shock to anyone. I thought his last run was awesome.
Yeah.
I will watch his segment about 5 times in a row because I just love the guy for, I don't even know why.
No.
He just seems like a good guy and he's fun to watch. Either way, let's kind of see what comes up and let's see how the match goes down at Super Showdown. I'm sure it'll be very fun.
Can't wait.
Speaking of things that are funny, that was a really rough transition. Sasha Banks, she might be coming back.
Yes!
Which is good news. Dave Meltzer, again, comment section, shout about that because we've used them twice, whatever. Do your thing. On the most recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, he said that Sasha Banks will probably end up back in WWE, although he didn't really offer any extrapolation. Now, Sasha herself, being the boss, this is what she does. She has teased a number of different things on social media over the past few weeks. She tweeted something a few weeks ago saying if only you marks knew or something and then deleted it. She then posted another thing with a WWE hashtag and an NXT hashtag and deleted that as well. Well, she's been busy again. Over the past couple of days, she has posted a photo of herself accompanied by the quote, "I will conquer my biggest dreams. Once you open the cage, I bet that I'll spread my wings." And this has led to all kinds of speculation that she's going to return to TV with a new direction and perhaps even a new character, although it's hard to see them veering from the boss.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her come back. I think this is exactly probably what she needed. We mentioned just a minute ago the fact that money doesn't solve everything, and we'd heard and we've reported before that she'd turned down being offered the world.
Yeah.
I think this is all she's ever wanted. Look, just a new direction for her character and just more guarantees that they aren't going to say job her out or, let her lose a title that she's been really excited about winning after 49 days.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about situations like this is that, the cynicism is kind of earned, really, because what about WWE's booking really suggests that things are going to be better for her when she returns? I mean, the creative is a shambles, nothing really matters, everything changes on a whim, stories start one week and then get scrapped the very next. Robert Roode, what the hell's he doing now after that big reinvention? So,
former 24/7 champion.
Of course. But it would be great to see her installed as a top-level figure on the same level as Becky, Charlotte, and now Bayley. Ronda Rousey, of course, although she's absent at the moment. That'd be great to see. But is it going to happen? I don't know. Either way, I hope she's happy. I hope she gets the direction that she wants. It's going to be cool to see her killing it again.
I was about to say, please bring her back as a heel. But do you think it'd work? Do you think people would be excited to see her coming back so you can't immediately bring her back as a heel? Or do you think, because of all the people's knowledge about this and the supposed tantrum at WrestleMania, that maybe if you put her as a heel with all the knowledge that wrestling fans have, that might actually play into it?
I think that's an interesting conversation. But I think that rather than that, I think that if you're not on Sasha Banks' side at the moment, what have you been watching? Every complaint she's had has proven justified. Yes, the idea of her and Bayley kind of kicking around on a floor or whatever, however exaggerated that may have been, doesn't look good. But she's got a point. She's talking, look at the tag team titles, the women's tag team titles. Now I know, Iconics, all that stuff. But they're not doing anything.
longest reigning women's tag team champions ever without having a title defense.
But
Iconic!
the belts aren't on TV. The Iconics never win. They're on main event. The whole thing sucks. Sasha Banks was right. I think she'd have more support than criticism if she came back.
I think to find the Iconics beat some jobbers a while back, but anyway. I'm inclined to agree with that.
April 9th, was it? Yeah.
Let's not talk about it. I think you need to bring her back. I think you need to give her more creative control. I think you need to do that with half a bloody roster, to be honest. But I'm happy to see her coming back, as much as her jumping ship, someone like AEW would be amazing, because they need more stars for their women's
They
division.
really do.
So I think it's probably guarding against AEW more than probably them thinking this is the best decision to make for Sasha. Right, final news story of the day, and it concerns AEW. You may remember Double or Nothing was last weekend, and we saw Chris Jericho defeat Kenny Omega and Hangman Page win the Casino Battle Royale, which means the two of them will go head-to-head, and it's been confirmed it's going to be Page versus Jericho for the AEW World title at All Out at the end of August. I'm really, really excited for that match.
Kiss. Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, obviously these two won title eliminators at Double or Nothing. Jericho beat Kenny Omega. Page won the Casino Battle Royale. So we knew that the match was happening, we just didn't know when. Now, obviously, logic would have pointed towards All Out, given that it's the next big event. They have Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, but they will be smaller scale shows, not on the same level as All Out or Double or Nothing. So it makes perfect sense. It's going to be a great match. It's a veteran versus a guy who is fantastic, but still very much like, tightening the nuts and bolts on his act. I think it's going to be tremendously entertaining. I can't wait to see what they do together. But the interesting thing about this piece of booking is that AEW have obviously had to grossly rewrite everything, because the original report surrounding Pac pulling out of the promotion was that he was going to beat Page at Double or Nothing, and then he was going to wrestle Kenny Omega for the belt. So before Pac kind of pulled out of AEW, it sounds like not only was Jericho losing to Omega at Double or Nothing, but Page was going to lose to Pac as well. So they've completely reshuffled everything, and they've come away with a really interesting, weird match.
A great match for the world title, and hopefully, although I'm not sure if it's been confirmed officially yet, hopefully Moxley versus Omega.
Oh my goodness. It's shaping up to be one hell of a card, and I have a sneaking suspicion that you may just see another Young Bucks Lucha Bros match on that card as well.
I'm down for that.
Pop.
Early pick between Page and Jericho?
Jericho, I think Page is going to be the guy for years in this company, but I think the cooler story is for him as the babyface to lose at the first fall at the first hurdle, go on a journey of redemption, a path back to the top, and then win it after a long, grueling, say a year journey all the way to the top, where he beats a Jericho or an Omega, and he becomes the guy. But I'm not a fantasy booker. Well, I am. I'm not a booker.
I agree, though.
I own books for.
Jericho should be the first world champion for AEW, in my opinion. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. Don't forget you can tweet them to us at WhatCultureWWE. Let's start with a video question we've been sent by Cayman Gamer Titletown. Thank you so much for sending it to us. And let's check this out. Let's see what he has got to ask us.
Hey, Common Gamer Titletown here. Got a question for you. Given the reports that WWE talent are very, very much dissatisfied with Vince's creative control, what do you think the chances are that maybe, if we're going with conspiracy theories here, that perhaps Triple H is secretly staging some sort of a coup to usurp Vince from control and take over, which, no, normally I'm not one for conspiracy theories myself, but I'd subscribe to this one if I were me.
Welcome aboard the conspiracy train. All are welcome. So what do you reckon to that? Do you reckon this is potentially some sort of coup going on backstage with Triple H and Vince?
Realistically, I don't think so. I don't think that Hunter would sabotage like a company that he's going to inherit in such a way. I don't think he would take that risk. I do believe the reports recently that he's frustrated with how Vince is doing things, but I don't know if he'd go that far. I think that Triple H is probably a bit more like Vince than a lot of us would really like to admit, because we all want to think that when Triple H takes over, everything's going to be great, everything's going to be wonderful. I do think that things will be better, but he did learn everything he knows about promoting from Vince McMahon. So, I mean, it's a really fun story for him.
Yeah, it's a great idea, but I do think, as much as I don't necessarily agree that there's a conspiracy there, I do think he's probably aligning himself more and more to be in that position, to be ready to go, because people are crying out. There was a Save Us Triple H sign on Monday Night Raw, I think, this week. And It's something that needs to happen relatively soon because I think he's just waiting around, and he's probably, after about 6 months of AEW's TV, I should say, WWE are going to have a big decision to make, and Vince is going to have to, be brave. He might have to say, look, the business has kind of passed me by a little bit. It's time to hand over. Remain on as a, consultant, as a, silent partner. Absolutely fine. Yeah. But you need fresh new ideas. And
something.
You see when we talk about this online, people saying, if you put NXT up against AEW, I think it's a lot harder for fans to sort of differentiate and go, which is the best product here. Mm-hmm. You put main roster WWE and it's night and day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a whitewash. It really is. It's going to be really interesting to see how the ratings come out towards the end of the year when these two shows are out.
It's going to be a big time to be a wrestling fan.
Wait.
Second question today comes from Uesugi Kenshin, who says, if the Undisputed Era were to have a fifth member, who would you want it to be? This is inspired, of course, by KO's recent tweet.
Ooh, that's a really good question. Probably a women's wrestler, because it's 4 dudes. So it'd be kind of cool if they had their toe in another division. Because at the moment, they could conceivably one day, Cole could have the big NXT belt, Roddy could have the North American, and Fish and O'Reilly could have the tag team titles. That leaves one belt, the women's championship. So it would have to be a women's wrestler. It would have to be someone who's a good, convincing heel. Bianca Belair is a good, convincing heel.
I was thinking that.
But I don't know if she's the great fit for that group. I'm not sure. Might be someone who's not made television yet. But how about Deonna Purrazzo, right? Really talented prospect. If you've seen her on the indies, you know she's really good. She carries herself with this kind of cocksure confidence that would fit in the group pretty well. She's a good technical wrestler. She might be a good fit. I don't think there's any obvious woman in developmental on TV regularly at the moment. Well, perhaps. I bet maybe Bianca.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of Bianca Belair. My perception of this is, look, Undisputed Era, is it fair to say they're a relatively successful stable?
Oh, 100%.
Is that a fair thing to say?
100%.
They just need a bit more, awareness about them. And how do you do that? You move to one of the most infamous stables of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Undisputed Worldwide!
I knew that was coming from the moment.
Can you imagine him as the fifth member? Make it happen, Vince. It would solve everything. No one's watching AEW if that happens.
Gangrel.
Eric Vasquez gives us our final question of today, who suggests that WWE could bring in Conor McGregor to counter someone like CM Punk or whoever AEW would bring in to surprise the wrestling world. We've been speculating about who WWE need to bring in, and we talked, I think, the other day on the podcast about perhaps WWE or AEW bringing in a name like CM Punk. We said, if WWE really want to change reverse the tide of all this fascination with AEW, if you could bring in a massive name who could legitimately do some things in there, then you've got something exciting. We were talking about who they could maybe pinch from, because WWE have signed basically everyone, who they could pinch from, let's say, New Japan. And it's like Kazuchika Okada, and that's about it. And that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So bring in someone from another sport, especially someone with the charisma, the personality, the attention that Conor McGregor would bring. You'd have to throw a lot of money at the problem, but it's not like they haven't got a lot of dollars hanging about.
This is it. The question is, would Vince be willing to pay what Conor would demand as fees? But I have no doubt whatsoever that he would be a huge asset to any company. He's a bell end, right? He's a troublemaker. He's a rapscallion.
He's my boy. I love him.
He's a terrible criminal, and he is all these things. But he's also like the most charismatic guy in sports. He's a real star. He's really talented. Like, it's impossible to take anything away from what he's done because the guy is a phenomenal sportsman. He's a phenomenal combat sports athlete. Yeah, bring him in, man. Like, if they can find a way to do it, it's
imagine him coming out to Vince's music whilst doing
the wiggly arm Vince walk. I'm totally here for that.
Look, we've seen it in the past. They brought Tyson in.
Yeah.
So it could happen.
Yeah, there you go. Like, Tyson has a dubious record himself, so I'm obviously not comparing the two, but no, it'd be great. It would be good to see Conor do the thing because, he's ridiculously entertaining. Ridiculously.
Right, let's move on to today's, and finally, of course, all the talk this week has been about the John Moxley incident at Double or Nothing, and then the subsequent podcast with Talk is Jericho, which is like number one on all podcast charts, or just below it. Just below probably the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast, which is brilliant. Subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on iTunes, Spotify.
Twice the listens, I hear.
Get on our level, Chris. Anyway, a lot of people, have been pointing out that there've been hints dropped by Moxley in the past. Obviously, he had that video that came out when his contract basically expired. He talked about the fact that in that last interview with The Shield, he said, I'm cashing my chips in. But I think I've spotted something that no one else has seen before. This was posted on Reddit by JJ Waffle Maker. And I just want to share this. If there ever was an indication of what was about to happen in terms of Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley in the WWE and AEW, I think this kind of sums it up. That just shows you 0 F's given. Tripp's been like, don't you dare. And he's like, I've got a live mic. He talks about that on the podcast, saying basically he thought they might sort of try and throw him under the bus in that segment. He was like, as long as I've got a live mic, I'm all right.
I can strike back at these brothers.
I love it. I can't wait to see what happens next week. It's just an ongoing...
It's great, man. I hope WWE get really petty, you know? Just start taking these stupid little shots, like Triple H burning a Stardust leotard thing. Like, just give me all that bollocks. I love it. I want to see more of it. I want to see more of Cody using his stupid sledgehammer to bash that front. It's great stuff.
I love it.
It's really good fun.
Ugh, I can't wait. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And check out our wrestling podcast, What Culture Wrestling, on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can send us Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Whilst you're there on Twitter, you can follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Henry.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow us all, as I said, at WhatCultureWWE. Enjoy NXT TakeOver this weekend. Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze. Just straight into my veins, please.
Tyler Breeze.
Can't wait. And of course, Cole versus Gargano too. Sign me up. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.